Howdy friends, on this episode of Forever Home, we're going to be talking plumbing tips. Customer supplied their own faucet set that we just finished installing here, but these come with tailpieces that go down into the body of the sink. Now we've installed a couple of these before, and one of the challenges that we have with them is this real thin threaded on piece here at the top. So what happens is you put this up from the bottom into the sink, put this piece down from the top, and you screw this on, but you've only got roughly 1/4 inch of threads. It's not very tall this direction, and they're not very deep, and the plastic's not very thick. So when you put this on here and then you're trying to crank this bottom nut up tight enough that this rubber bushing seals in the bottom of the sink so that it doesn't leak, by the time you get that enough tension on that, there's a lot of pressure on this piece up here. And what happens is, in one case we cracked it just in the process of installing it, and then we put 4 of these in for a customer, and then a week later she called us and said one of the kids dropped their toothbrush in the sink and it hit the top of this and it sprung off. So we wound up replacing all 4 with new metal ones. So if you're buying a Delta, faucet set, they sell you here, that's great. But buy the metal tail pieces. Go down to the plumbing aisle, find the metal pieces, and we're just going to throw these away. And whether you need brushed nickel or whether you need the chrome or the iron bronze, find a full metal version of this. The other alternative is we can just put silicone on this and then kind of hope for the best. I hate these, stay away from these. The Delta faucets are wonderful, and we'll take you underneath the cabinet here and show you some things. This is where I was talking about. This would kind of bolt in up here. This rubber bushing fits against the bottom of here, and there's just no way with this plastic to get it tight enough to really hold the way that we want it to. So that's one of the big problems with these. I love these faucets. They're wonderful. They're very quick and easy to install and replace, and they come with their own braided lines that go into your valve. So that makes it really simple, and you're not worried about different aquaflow sizes. You got to make sure you got the right size nut here, but for the most part, they're all 3/8 compression. But if you're buying your own faucet to have a contractor install and you're getting, one of these Deltas, make sure that you buy a separate one of these in metal, so that you know that the top part is a much better shape. So we're here in the second bathroom, and this is a Moen version. This is probably a good 3/16 longer than the Delta version of it. And generally speaking, I really like Delta stuff. This is the one thing they crap out on. This Moen one being a little taller, I'm less nervous about it. But the one thing that we always do when I put these in, they always leak when you put these together. The technique that I like to use is to take a little bit of normal silicone, put that around the threads right in through here. I got them nut backed all the way off. And we're going to put a little bit of silicone right here, so then when this rubber washer comes up, that silicone's going to get pushed into the threads. Because again, no matter how tight you get this, and you can't tighten it too much because it's going to have an issue, and we're going to pop the top off if we do that. But I want to make sure that I've got good silicone around the threads and on the top of this washer. When it gets assembled and goes up into the bottom of the sink here, that we got good connection and that we're not relying totally on pressure to fix it in the uneven surface of that sink, but we've got some adhesive product in there helping us out. All right, so there you can see we got that spread all the way around the outside of that rubber washer, and then we're going to take, and this goes up from the bottom, and then that piece goes down from the top. So make sure you got that on the top piece on as tight as you can, so you got as many of those threads biting as you can, and then we can come down here and start to tighten this ring up down here. So we've got this tightened up, and it's not tight. I mean, I could probably almost still move it with my fingers. There's still a little bit of wiggle here. But if I over tighten this, we are going to snap that plastic ring on top. So we're going to leave this relatively, snug, but not tight. And we're going to rely on this bead of silicone here, and I'm going to smooth it around with my finger and just make sure that we got a good seal up against the bottom edge of the sink here, because that silicone is really what's going to ensure that this thing doesn't leak. Mostly in between the threads, more so than between the rubber bushing and the sink, but you just can't get this tight enough to get that rubber to lock into these threads to keep it from leaking. And so I've put these on before, and you always have water coming down these threads. So by putting the silicone on ahead of time, we're really hoping that that's gonna solve this, but we won't know until we put it together, wait 24 hours, and they run the water tomorrow and they see what happens. So when you go to put these traps together, these tail pieces come 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. So what this is an adapter ring that knocks 1.5 inches down to 1.25 inches. So it doesn't matter what you get, but you got to make sure that you have the right parts to be able to put all this back together with. We're just pulling this trap back off the old one. So we'll get this set up and in here, put the trap back up, screw it all back together. All right, so trap back together. This is the one that you want to make sure you get plenty tight, but if you over tighten these, you can cause them to leak as well. This one's up above the drain, so it just has to be snug, but not, to kill it. Then you get your this piece back in so that you've got your way to run the drain up and down, and keep following the directions they give you as they put everything together. Now I have seen these where this is molded on, and this is all one piece, and then something goes through and then it threads together below deck. If the top is one piece, that's fine, but if it's this separate screw-on piece and it's only 1/4 inch tall, that's it's not going to work. You're not going to get the strength out of it that you need. So, quick homeowner tip of the day from Drew at 𝗂𝘀 Construction and Renovation. We'll catch you guys in the next edition of Forever Home. Remember, we're finished with it. You'll be proud to say it's not just done. It was 𝗂𝘀 built. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.